Okay, this is a specific form of a parabola. There are not three terms, there are only two terms, a squared term and a constant. And whenever that happens, you always want to use 0 as your x-coordinate of your vertex. Now, I'm going to make an xy table, and I'm going to put 5 points on it. And for the middle point, I'm going to use 0. And then the vertex, you use 0 for the x, and then whatever numbers at the end goes with it. So -1. Now I need to make a U, because a parabola is a U shape. To make the U, you need 2 points on either side of the vertex. So I need 1 higher, 2 higher, so 1 and 2, and 2 lower, -1 and -2. So then what I do is I always just work under the vertex, and I'll show you why in a minute. I'm going to take this 1 and plug it in for x squared. So I have x squared minus 1. I'm going to change out to 1 squared minus 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Take away 1 equals 0. So this is a 0. The reason I worked under the vertex is because if this one's 0, then the one above the vertex is also 0, because the parabola is symmetrical. So now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to plug in 2. If you do it this way using symmetry, you don't have to figure out as many points. So 2 squared minus 1, 2 times 2 is 4, take away 1 is 3, so this is 3, and if this one's 3, so is the other one. So then you have all the points you need for your parabola. I'm going to graph these points, -2, 3. Actually, let me get this ready. Let's try that one more time. So we said that we are going to graph -2, 3. 2, 1, 2, 3 right here. And -1, 0 is next. And we said the vertex was 0, -1. And then 1, 0, and 2, 3. Yes. Now, you're going to connect that with a U shape. Sorry, I'm not real good with this board with making the U. It's easier with your paper, but that's the general idea. You now have your parabola. So on the next one, and any time the parabola is in this form, y equals ax squared plus c, you're going to use the same exact values for your x each time. So I'm still going to use -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. And the 0, for this form, the 0 is the vertex. So it's 0 and the number at the end, so that's a -6. You take your original equation, 1/2 x squared minus 6. I'm going to plug in a 1 for that. Okay, so exponents first. 1 times 1 is 1, and half of 1 is 1/2, and 1/2 minus 6 is a -5 and 1/2. Fractions are okay, don't be afraid of them. So that means up here is -5½ as well. Okay, now plug in the 2. 1/2 2 squared minus 6. Well, 2 times 2 is 4, and half of 4 is 2. So 2 take away 6 is -4. So those are those 2 points. So I'm going to do the same thing. The first point was -2, -4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. And then I had -1 and -5 1/2. So -1 and -5 1/2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a half is right here. And then I had 0 and -6, that's right here. So it's going to be a +1 and -5 1/2 and a +2 and a -4. Oops, sorry. Needed to go over one. And you have your U. Try not to make it a V. I know with my board it's hard to make it a U, but if you make it a V, that's an absolute value equation. So you want to try to make it a U, just like that. Okay, the next one.